Hey everybody, welcome to Gootz's Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Gootz, and this week we're going to talk SummerSlam 97 and all the happenings in the wrestling world. And I'm here with I have two co-hosts now. This is becoming a big production. I got Kyle Lewis. Kyle, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. And joining the show for the first time, coming on board to represent the Gootsness, we have Prateek. Prateek, how are you?
I'm good. How's everybody doing? Yay.
Prateek, you're new to the show, but you're a big wrestling fan. Why don't you tell people your background with wrestling?
I've been watching since '92. In terms of events I've gone to in the last 4 years, I've been to the last four WrestleManias. I've been to the last three SummerSlams. In 2024, I went to all of the big four pay-per-views. Last year, I got to go to Madison Square Garden for the first time. I went to Greensboro Coliseum for Sting's last match. It's been good to like kind of go back to like old school wrestling arenas and kind of enjoy like the history of wrestling. So I've been kind of like rekindling that love by going to live events again.
Yes, and it's nice. We went to WrestleMania.
We went to WrestleMania this year, night one.
Together. We went to night one together, and then it's nice also to go to these events and learn about different cultures from all our sponsors, and that's why I got into. I now collect dude wipes because of so dancing with the dude wipe guy. It really means a lot to me. So, Kyle, have you ever bought some dude wipes because of WWE TKO?
No, not yet. I haven't done that one yet. I'll use the regular wipes that they got. Dude wipes. I don't think I need those yet.
I have non-binary wipes
There
actually.
you go.
Listen, if you're gonna be a member of the bloodline, you got to use dude wipes. That's how Jacob Fatu wipes his butt. So
He's got 7 kids, so he's wiped a lot of butts.
yeah, he's wiping a lot of butts.
Those should be the ads. He's like, I got 7 kids. I wiped a
But
lot of
I gotta
all
put,
gas, no brakes. Like, oh God.
All
of
gas, no
course,
wipes.
Yeah.
of course, this week, WWE has of all the weeks where we're losing all our rights. WWE is WrestlePalooza. It wasn't enough that it's on ESPN, but the Usos are reuniting. And it would be great if they had a Dude Wipes match because I approve of Dude Wipes. But no, instead the Usos are going to fight the Vision in the first ever EMF friendly match. Kyle, Prateek, does one of you want to explain what EMF friendly is?
I barely know myself. It's like one of
Yeah.
these cell phone, like they protect you from cell phone 5G conspiracy stuff. That's what it seems like. I don't know. I tried reading it. I still don't know what the hell they were talking about.
I'm lost on it too. Yeah. I thought it was a sponsor at first. I'm like, okay,
It
it's
is sponsored.
It,
It
it
is sponsored.
that yeah.
Yeah. And so what this company does is they have a patch that supposedly is to protect you from cell phone rays that are going to kill us. Um, this is completely made up bullshit science. This is the equivalent of if you don't want to get AIDS, wear this hat on your head in 1985 or something. Like it's that insane. Um, and the other thing about this match, so during the match, each corner will have a pad on it that will prevent cell phone signals from affecting the Usos and Braun Breaker and the other guy. What's the other guy's name? So somebody give it to
Bronson
me.
Reed.
Bronson Reed from the EMF, from the deadly EMF waves, and they'll be wrestling they'll be very safe wrestling. Which leads me to ask the question: so does that mean that every other wrestler is exposed to EMF? And if it's dangerous, why are we putting every other wrestler in danger? If the science behind this is real, which it isn't, by the way, but if this is a real threat, why does CM Punk and AJ Lee have to die of cell phone radiation, but the Usos are safe? Please explain this to me, Kyle or Prateek.
Because you need to protect your future tribal chiefs. That's why.
The little tribal chiefs in their ball sacks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
so
Can they
stupid.
not climb on the turnbuckle then? Is the turnbuckle gonna be lit
no,
up?
no, you'll be safe. You'll be safe. It's just the. I think it's like a little. Dude, this is like snake oil. This is like the equivalent. This is like such. It is insane to me that WWF is sponsoring this right wing snake oil. Say what you will about Vince McMahon. He was a rapist. He was a sexual predator. I mean, we can say a lot of bad things about
Yeah.
him. I know Kyle, he's your hero, but let's like cut to the chase, right?
Don't
Uh,
put that on there. Don't put that out there.
Kyle hated him, but my thing is, I do feel, and this is something like we sometimes have to say uncomfortable truths about assholes. I do feel like Vince had an invisible line with the audience that he wouldn't cross, and I think this, and it's hard to articulate, but I think this EMF uh, uh, patch is one of the things that he would be like, I'm not gonna let you put that on the ring. Like I'm just not. Even if he believes in it, even if he thinks you're right, I think he knows it's just such a weird thing to do. I just think he wouldn't cross that line. And TKO has no problems doing this. And I do kind of feel like it's really insulting to us as customers. What do you guys think?
No,
And I feel
I
like, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the same thing. I mean, TKO said it last week, or even before this, that they were like WWE's not making as much money as UFC, and like because Vince cared about families, and they want to make like they don't care. They don't
Mhm.
care about the fan. They don't care about a fan's best interests, whatever. If Satan wanted to fucking sponsor a match, it would be right there on the Hell in a Cell, literally sponsored by Satan. It would be that and Inferno matches. Like they don't care. They care about the bottom dollar. That's it. And it's really off-putting. I love WWE. I love watching WWE superstars, but they're making it harder and harder every single time with the stupid shit that they keep doing with these sponsors.
Prateek, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's this thing of okay, you're sponsoring these events, you're having Cash App on the Money in the Bank briefcase, you have, you know, I still remember like the WrestleMania. We went to WrestleMania, like the ring mat. I don't mind like one or two ads, but it was so busy on the mat itself, I couldn't even see half of the sponsors. I'm like, you want me to pay attention to what's on your mat, but there's so many different wordings. Mike's Hard Lemonade, Naked Gun coming soon in theaters. I'm like, how would I even know what product to think about when it's just a busy mat? I don't mind. I know AEW had like DraftKings in the corner, kind of like a UFC thing. Like that at least looked a little bit uniform, but it's getting way too busy. Now the tables have like, oh man, the tables are small. And Slim Jim is fine. I know Slim Jim has a history in wrestling as a historical product, so that's fine. But my thing is, you have all these sponsors, but the ticket prices aren't going down. You're still charging up the ass. You're still releasing superstars. You're still like insulting our intelligence, saying, "Oh, we're losing money." So it's like you have and also there's commercials. If you go to the live events and in between, there's still commercials in between. This thing is sponsored. You have commercial breaks. You have ads for the Saudi tourism board. So it's like you have all these things, but you're still not lowering the ticket prices. If the ticket prices come down, maybe I would be a little bit more on board, but they're literally pricing me out. I wanted to be able to go to. This was the first SummerSlam I couldn't go to because it was getting too much. Like usually the prices
Too
drop.
much for too little, I would say. Too much for too little.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whatchamacallit? I'm gonna ask you guys this quick question because I think I want to prove a point about sponsorships because I'm not against them. But I'll ask you this. Let's see if you guys first person who knows shout out. What was the sponsor of SummerSlam '94?
94.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stridex or something? That's like
90,
96.
that was '95. Close.
And
Okay.
Good.
97, the one we just watched. Yeah, that was Stridex too. Yeah.
Um, and what was the board game that sponsored a lot of 1997?
Karate Fighters?
Yeah, there you go. All right. And what was the sponsor of Halloween Havoc?
Slim Jim? I don't remember. It was
It is
Slim Jim?
Slim.
All right.
You're right. So my point is this: is that WWE and WCW had one sponsor. WCW had one sponsor, Slim Jim, for Halloween Havoc. It was on the mat. It was placed beautifully on the mat. It had a nice. You go back and you look at that ring, the Halloween Havoc ring. It's a beautiful ring, right? And it's all about Slim Jim. It's all over the place. It had one sponsor, and we still remember that sponsor 30 years later. NFL fans can't remember who sponsored the Super Bowl in 1995. Baseball fans can't remember who sponsored, but we remember, even though you had struggled to remember it, you still remember who sponsored Halloween Havoc. And I think having just one sponsor, that gave the 30 years of ad recognition for me, for you. And I think that's kind of the way to go because when you have 47 sponsors on a ring mat, you don't remember any of them. It just becomes mush and it becomes noise. And the only reason I remember dude wipes is because I respect our tribal chief. And but I just think like this overdoing of sponsors, I don't think it really does anything for the sponsors. And I think that the way it used to be where you put all your efforts into one company, that company stays with us because we're lunatics. That company stays with us for 34. You remembered Stridex from 1995, you know?
Yeah, people still talk about lug boots, and I've never worn a lug boots, but people still talk about the lugs boot of the week or Castrol
Mhm.
GTX,
JVC Kaboom Box,
Yeah,
JVC. Yeah, that was
and I
another one.
who's gonna remember that the Street Profits dressed up like the Borderlands or like fucking Viking Raiders were Clash of Clans at WrestleMania? Like
Yeah,
no one's gonna remember this shit because it's all over the place.
it also messes with the match. You have a big blood feud, like the Bloodline or the Usos against Division, and they're sponsoring cell phone. Like, I don't like. What are you doing? This is supposed to
Yeah.
be like your big match. You're teasing Jey Uso, like slowly turning into Roman Reigns, and now like you're gonna see all this cell phone crap. Like, and you're gonna look back when they do the video package, and you're gonna see all this stupidness. Like, it doesn't like why. Or when the
and
Viking Raiders came out looking, they looked so stupid. In the Clash of Clans at WrestleMania, they looked goofy. Like
Yeah.
it didn't make you want to play the game. It's like you
it
guys look
didn't
like
fit the
idiots.
match. It also like here's our thing: are if a wrestler's dressing up as that, are they getting a cut of this sponsorship? Like that's my other question. Are the boys and girls who are in these big like are the Usos getting an extra paycheck because of this cell phone nonsense? You know what I mean?
Probably
Well,
not.
I know Cody Rhodes gets money from Wheatley Vodka, so
Right
he because it's Wheatley Vodka is on his tour bus, so
on his tour
he at
bus.
least gets money, you know.
His podcast also they drink like from Wheatley, like they have like the Wheatley bottles everywhere. Right?
Oh, they do, yeah, yeah. I will say that sponsorship is work because I have the song in my head. Wheatley, so good, I drink it neatly, and then
There
I
you
will,
go.
yeah,
I mean, it did work with AEW when they would do the Assassin's Creed and Will Ospreay, and that's something that makes sense because he modeled
He
his
likes
whole character off of Assassin's
yeah.
Creed. But at least to make it make sense, like what do you? I don't know. Like Rhea Ripley just did something with a Terrifier and like Nine Inch Nails or something. Like,
Oh
why do you
no,
use that?
Ice Nine Kills.
What? Wait, who?
Ice Nine Kills. That's the name of
Ice
the band.
Nine Kills. My
That's
bad.
the name of the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she
But
like
yeah,
likes
Rhea
Terrifier. She
Ripley,
said openly like she's a fan of that, so that makes sense.
yeah,
yeah, do something like that.
Rhea Ripley in Terrifier 4 would be great. I mean, even if she's like the opening kill, like if she's like
Yeah.
the Drew Barrymore of the film, I think that'd be really really fun. I don't think she's a good enough actress to be like one of the leads of Terrifier 4, but definitely like you kick the movie off like murdering her in the locker room. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, they had a Chris Jericho in the last one, didn't they? That's what I heard.
Mhm. Yeah, he's
Spoiler.
in
So if Jericho could do it, she can do it.
Yeah, at least. It's so wild how
well,
many people who don't watch wrestling know who Rhea Ripley is. Like she's kind of crossed over in that weird mainstream, you know?
She gets the Kelly Bundy pop every week. She comes out and they just start cheering madly. And she doesn't wrestle. She hasn't
Oh,
wrestled in like a month, except for NXT yesterday, a couple days ago. But
yeah,
she hasn't wrestled on Raw in like a month, maybe even longer. And she
yeah.
just comes out and gets this loud reaction no matter what. And then
I think
that's it for the week.
the thing about her that I know some women fans have said they feel uncomfortable about her is that she does play up and she doesn't mind catering to the Gooner crowd, and she's cool with it if you have like weird thoughts about her. She doesn't care, and I think a lot of other people do care, and they've made it let it be known, and I do think that strategy with her is working. I know some female fans are like, she plays it up a little bit too much, and I'm like, okay, but that has worked for hundreds of years, and it's going to work for hundreds. I mean, so I think that's why she's really crossed over. So, I know sometimes I think she plays up to the Gooners a little bit too much. I don't know how you guys feel.
I mean, she has them. She has a lot of queer fans just by her look.
Hmm.
She's not queer to my knowledge, but a lot of queer LGBTQ plus fans like her too, just by the way she looks and dresses. But I remember those. I felt bad for her. Maybe she did secretly. No, I hope not. Somebody posted like, they call them, I'm just calling them gum tributes, and they did a gum tribute to Rhea Ripley, and she thought it was artwork, but it was not. It was somebody's gum on a picture of Rhea Ripley, and that's too far in the Gooner territory, in my opinion. but she did post it and then realized what it was and then had to delete
Then
it.
she took it down, if I'm not
Yeah,
Yeah. The worst part
that's
was it was from
insane.
Tony Khan. That was the worst part.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a Gootz podcast without a Tony Khan shot. I was waiting for it.
No, some fans, bro. I used to do the signings at Caroline's, and the female fans. I mean, the female wrestlers had like the craziest fucking fans, the craziest fans, and I know people had unhealthy relationships with these women, and it's wild. I mean, just some of the letters, because a lot of them would just leave it at Caroline. Some of the letters AJ Lee got were like, "This is like too much pressure for anybody, let alone a woman who's like wrestling half naked once a week." Like they're talking to her like she's their therapist, and I'm
Oh
like, "All right."
no.
So it's weird. It's weird. I just think you should just goon to these women in private and move on with your life. That's what I say. Right,
I
Kyle?
think even Rhea Ripley posted like mail was getting delivered to her actual home address or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
And then did you guys see that clip of her in Paris where she just got swarmed and mobbed by people?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Not good. But who's not getting swarmed and mobbed is the AEW roster. Anna Jay could run around naked in Times Square. People are going to be like, "Who's that?" So guys, are you guys at all excited for AEW All Out? Let's start with Kyle. Kyle, what's your thoughts on this card on Saturday?
I barely know what it is, but I'm gonna watch it. I know it's Adam Page, Kyle Fletcher. I'm not a Kyle Fletcher person. I know he's talented. I know he's doing all the right things. I think anybody who just associates with the Don Callis family outside of, I guess, Okada, it's just like it's like that music that in my head. Like I don't like Don Callis. I don't like anything Don Callis does, and it just is like a cloud to me about that. So I'm not excited for the main event and the rest of the matches. I really don't know. I have not been. Oh, the women's match I'm excited for, and Edge and Christian, but I think that's about it.
Prateek, what are your thoughts on this
I'm,
event?
I'm torn what the main event is going to be. I think there was I actually went to Forbidden Door. Gary Ray, Gary Sampson. We were able to get
Yes,
last
big
for
UK fan.
big
Well,
UK fan. He goes to a lot of UK independent stuff. He's a big fan. So at the Forbidden Door pay per view, the thought was FTR would get the titles, and then it would have been Edge Christian fighting for the titles in Toronto, their hometown. I mean, do I think the titles are needed? No, but I think that adds a little bit to the main event. I'm pretty sure Edge Christian, it makes sense to have them be the final match of the night. There's also, I mean, I know Hangman and Fletcher could potentially be the main event too. So I feel like there's a little bit of a tension what's going to be the main event. It also feels a little bit like they're struggling for opponents for Hangman if you have the TNT title holder fighting. And I don't even think it's title for title, if I'm not mistaken. It's something where it's
I
just.
yeah, they might have announced that they're unifying it this week. No, if a Don Callis member interferes, then Kyle
He would
Fletcher will be
slip.
stripped of the
Yeah.
championship. This is a 13 match card. Oh, with the
With
pre-show.
pre-show. I think like 9 matches
Okay.
on the main
Yeah.
card. They did 4 matches on the pre-show at Forbidden Door too. Tony loves a big pre-show, a meaty pre-show.
A long show.
Long
I,
lot of show. The other big
Oh,
match is Thumbtacks and tables with MJF and Briscoe. I think that's going to be the end of their blood feud. That might be interesting.
that'll be fine. Yeah.
I like a good Briscoe match. It's good for MJF to kind of elevate him in a way. He's trying something with him. I think Briscoe was kind of floating for a while, so I'm interested in that match. If I'm not mistaken, I think MJF is defending the CMLL title the night before, so I think tomorrow night he'll be. So MJF is doing a lot of work these days. He's getting married. He's filming a movie right now. I believe he's filming Violent Night 2, and then he's defending the CMLL title. So you can't argue with MJF's work rate right
that's true. My thoughts. When they fired Jimmy Kimmel, when they screwed him over, Disney, obviously ESPN, I thought about actually ordering it All Out to stick it to
ESPN.
but then I really looked at the card and I just was like, no, I can't do it. This is just it's too much money for. I think the big mistake he's making, and I think not making Edge the main character of the show. If you're not going to make Edge the main character of the show, just don't bring him up. Then don't hire him. I think it's almost like you're losing money by treating Edge and Christian as like an undercard thing. And I don't think Kyle Fletcher is there yet. I also think if you're going to do the Edge and Christian reunion, I think they should be Edge and Christian. I think the fact that Christian is still acting like a dick, um, that's not what people wanted to see. If you're going to do this, just do it. And I think Tony. I think Edge should be the main. I think Edge should be the main character. And if you're like, well, Edge is not a draw to be the main character, like, well, then you shouldn't have brought him aboard. And I don't know. I just feel like yes, that should be the main event, and I don't think it's going to be. And I think that they're rushing this Kyle Fletcher thing. I think he listens too much to people on Twitter who don't know what they're talking about, who are going to watch the show regardless. And I think that putting him in a title match this soon is a detriment to him. And I don't think I think I don't know. Is it going to be a good match? Sure, but am I going to care? No. Is the world going to care? No. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I mean, everything on paper from the excluding the pre-shows, whatever. It's gonna be a well wrestled show. I don't know how Big Bill and Eddie Kingston's gonna be, but everything on here is something that they've built to, and it's gonna be a well wrestled show. But I think, yeah, Edge and Christian, at least, or Cope and Christian, should be the main event. They're in Toronto. It's the big hometown feel, and it could be. Who knows? They might actually do that. But I think it should be centered around them, especially since it's being in Toronto.
Mhm.
Everything else here, like I don't like when the world champion is in the main event, but Adam Page, Kyle Fletcher is not a pay-per-view main event to me.
No.
Um,
It's a
the only
dynamite.
thing yes, it's a dynamite one. I could see Darby Allin, John Moxley being the main event, but eh,
That one's been a feud for a while. They've been feuding for a while, and the crowd loves Darby. Darby gets every time I've gone to a live AEW event, Darby gets like the loudest pop ever. Everybody loves him. He just climbed Mount Everest too. Like that guy can, that guy just doesn't feel pain. I don't know what's going on. Like it's
no, he's crazy. Beth
yeah,
That's
Phoenix
good.
might show up. Who knows? Maybe Beth Phoenix will
at Phoenix.
glam slam Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah, that might be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I wanna support AEW over WWE because of everything that WWE is doing that I think is wrong and also hurtful. I think this EMF stuff, I think it's actually hurtful to the country. It goes beyond like you have a shitty sponsor to you are damaging our brains by putting this out. But it's just AEW just does has no appeal to me, and they're not budging. It's just they appeal to seven people on Twitter that don't shut up, and that's all he wants to do. And it's like, okay, I could kind of get on board with that if it was like $10, $20. We had this conversation last week, Kyle. But $40 for Kyle Fletcher, Hangman Page.
Is it
Come on.
40 with the? I think it's. I thought it was like 29.90 or like I think it was like 19 if you already have HBO Max or something. Or is it still 40 on top?
It's
40.
40, I think, for HBO Max and 50 if you don't have HBO Max.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I have
In this
HBO Max
economy,
through, yeah, I have it through cable, so I don't even think I can buy the pay-per-view. I think that's what they're saying. So I have to buy it
VPNs
on
all day.
Amazon,
I guess this is the VPN weekend, basically.
pretty much.
I
Did
I
you
mean,
guys?
WWE's having their problems with ESPN too, apparently. If you have Comcast or YouTube TV, you won't be able to watch the show. They're telling people that you won't be able to watch WrestlePalooza because of whatever issues going on with ESPN and their cable providers.
Well, even on Peacock, when I've tried to watch a pay per view live, it's always freezing or clipping. Even the playback of Dynamite sometimes on HBO Max, it freezes and clips for me. So I'm just like, this is. I just usually wait till the next day or something, and then when there's less people watching or there's less bandwidth, I find it just works better. But that's just my thing for live events. I just feel like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it live and it's gonna. I can't even see the picture properly. So I'm like, why am I spending all this money? It feels like mute points. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look at either a VPN or something. I don't know.
I will say that WrestlePalooza is being shown in theaters, and it's only $15 to go check it out, which is half the price of the ESPN membership.
It's not bad.
You guys ever watched the AEW shows in theaters? Has anyone done that?
No, I've never done it.
No, I went to a bar for All In. That was fun. Like they had like a nice couple screens, and I bought a drink. That was about it.
So here's the thing about seeing these pay-per-views in theaters.
Yeah.
It's WWE and AEW doesn't give us. I always assume that they gave like a closed circuit feed to the theaters. No. Basically, the theater orders the pay-per-view on their laptop, and then they plug it into the screen.
Oh, like HD.
When we saw a couple of AEW pay-per-views, it buffered and it stuttered.
Oh no.
That's what it is. So it's not like this great. It's not like you're seeing like this unique feed or anything. It's basically like going to somebody's bedroom and they hook up.
They just have a bigger screen. That's about it.
Yeah.
So you seen that sports bar in Dallas where they like put it on like it's like a 3D. It looks like the Sphere kind of where like you're sitting there and you feel like somehow they have a projection from the seat, so it looks like you're there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So guys, I'll go. Let's go around. Kyle, are you gonna watch WrestlePalooza All Out, both or neither?
I'm gonna watch both. I probably Wrestle All Out's probably gonna bleed a little bit into WrestlePalooza because AEW shows are 8 hours long for whatever
With
reason with pre-show. But I'm gonna watch both. I already said on my Saturday. I'm like I'm just gonna watch these shows. I got nothing.
Okay.
I got no bookings this weekend, so why not?
Well, I blame Tony for that. Prateek, are you gonna watch both, neither, or one or the other? What are you gonna watch?
I'm gonna watch both, but I have planned Saturdays, so I think the plan is to watch them Sunday and to stay off. I'm gonna stay off Facebook. That's because anything I go Instagram, I find hasn't spoiled it for me. But anytime I just log into Facebook for something, and it's not even like somebody is. It's like someone just typed out in a status a result. So just stay off. I'm gonna stay off social media Saturday and just watch it on Sunday. That's the plan.
And as for me, I'm gonna watch neither. Fuck them both. Uh, they should both burn in hell. Triple H is a disgrace, and he ruined China's life. So speaking, by the way, guys, who here? Let's start with Kyle. Kyle, did you watch Triple H on Kill Tony? Even a clip or anything of it?
No, I didn't even hear anybody talk about it. So how good or bad was it? Like I didn't even hear
Well,
any noise about it.
the Kill Tony Reddit said he was good in it.
Okay, I'm not on there.
Tony at all?
I saw like a reel, like on my feed, somebody posted a reel of like a comic was doing a joke about his mother having sex with a lot of guys, and it was like the Royal Rumbles, and then they cut to Triple H, and he's like, "Oh, I'll call your mom," and that got a reaction with the crowd. So it was a cute CEO mama joke. You know who the other guest was?
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top. So I think there was a lot of I got a prop for this. I got a prop for this. So you can see like Triple H laughing at that. So those were the two reels that popped up in my feed. I
I
didn't.
saw a gif of Triple H doing the double dicks, which is how he got hired in '95 with Vince and Pat. So he was good.
Yeah, that's what they say.
For me, then my dinner, you son of a bitch. But because this will transfer into SummerSlam '97. I'm wondering what's going to happen because I do think Triple H is going to get more involved in stand-up comedy. I wonder what's going to happen when he's at a show or he's at a Kill Tony and somebody makes a joke about the China Stephanie situation, how he's going to react. That is going to be the big thing because I've never seen anyone say that to his face, but I'm dying for someone to say it to his face. I don't think he's going to be able to not sell it. I think he's going to be visibly upset.
I mean, he according to the internet, he was visibly upset when Charlotte was like NXT is about the women. Like the women ran NXT. And Shawn Michaels had a smile on his face and Triple H was very stoic for whatever reason. So maybe he will not be able to handle that at all.
Maybe. Okay, so now let's go back to when life made sense. All right, the summer of 1997. We've gone over our history in '97. I wasn't watching. I still thought wrestling. So, Prateek, to give you some background, when Hulk Hogan lost to Yokozuna at King of the Ring '93, I
Right.
was pissed. It was a miscarriage of justice. To this day,
Miscarriage of justice.
I will never forgive Yokozuna for what he did to Hulkamania. And there might be evidence that I murdered him in 2000 for what he did. But I gave up wrestling. So I was embarrassed that I liked wrestling. Throughout the mid '90s, I was embarrassed by it. I thought it was stupid. I hated it. And
When did you come back to wrestling?
well, I'll tell you what happened. So during this whole era, I thought I hated wrestling. Then but I still bought the wrestling video games for my systems. So
Oh,
so when WCW NWO World Tour came out for the N64, my aunt got it for me for Christmas, and I loved it. It was the best wrestling game I ever played. I got back into wrestling, and my friends went to the Mike Tyson thing, which I was able to see on the weekend on WWF New York, which was the local show here. And then I rented WrestleMania 13, and I saw the Bret Hart Steve Austin match, and that's it. And I've been a diseased loser ever since. The January of '98, I got back into it more so than I've ever before, and I've never gotten out of it to the point where
oh, so you never had a drop off in like the 2000s or anything?
I mean, because I was working Monday nights, there were a lot of Mondays where I would just read the results, and I'd be like, that's good enough. But
Okay.
I used to record every episode of Raw and SmackDown and Nitro and Impact, and I since threw all those away, and I wish I didn't because now with the network going away. But yeah, I my it was a really bad drop off. I was like embarrassed. Like I was like, why did I like this stuff? And whenever I would see a clip from the '93 to '98 era, I was like, this is the worst shit I've ever. Why would anyone? And I was one of those. I got back into it, and now I go back and I rewatch these shows. So I I didn't watch this live. I watched it on VHS, and I enjoyed it. Were you a fan of '97? When were you?
In 97 I was watching, but I was watching more the WCW Dennis Rodman stuff. Coming from Chicago, there was a big thing. Whoa, Dennis Rodman is wrestling too. So like I was more into WCW at this point. So I missed this particular pay-per-view. I think I went back and watched it later or something that year, but I didn't really appreciate the wrestling part of it. I do remember Undertaker versus Undertaker, just because at that time as a kid I was like, "Whoa, that's exciting!" And now, granted, now as an adult, I think I appreciate more of the wrestling matches that were on the card more than some of the goofier kid stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and then I dropped off uh, right after the invasion angle, the failed invasion angle. There was just something about heel Austin that bothered me. I think a lot of people were just like, we still looked at him as like the anti-hero, and when he was kissing Vince's ass, I just, for whatever reason, I think I dropped off. I think also I was just staying up later and doing different things, so I kind of fell off. And then I came back, and then in college I came back a little bit with YouTube, because then YouTube had uploaded all the old pay-per-views. I was like, oh, Royal Rumble '98 or '99, I can watch that, fine. So then I kind of came back to it a little bit. I also really like, I know a lot of people don't care for, old school Batista, but I was just a fan of old school Batista with the Batista bomb. And some people don't got annoyed by him, but for some reason he intrigued me. The Punjabi prison match, the one with Great Khali, for some reason I was very entertained. And I'm not even Punjabi, but I found that match very very entertaining for some reason. And it actually calls back to, I'll tell you something when we get into the pay per view, because there's something with that. But yeah, so I kind of came back in 2005, 2006 for a little bit, and then when Sting came to WWE in 2014, then I kind of came back officially, and that's when I got the network. That old school. There was something about that old school network where you're like, oh, I can watch the old stuff, and it's all there. And it wasn't buffering either. Like it actually, like, it was a functional thing. Like Vince's original vision for the network was perfect. I don't know why we had to change the wheel on that, but it was.
Nick
Those
Khan. Nick Khan was the best and worst thing to happen to that company. Best because he's probably made a lot of people there very, very rich. Worst because he ultimately convinced them that yes, the network was built for us to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was built for like we could sit here all day and watch wrestling, and it's easy to use. He doesn't give a shit about that. It's like how much can I get for this and that, and he doesn't care if it's an uncomfortable viewing experience. He gets the money up front. That's who ruined the network. It was Nick Khan. So
It's like he gave us CM Punk, but he took the.
He gave us, yes, he gave us CM Punk, and he took away. But okay, all right. So this show takes place in New Jersey. It is the first pay per view in New Jersey for a while. There were some laws that made it hard for WWE to have a show there. Christine Whitman, the governor at the time, helped them get. I forget what the laws were, but I used to know this more. I should have probably done the research before we did a podcast about this. But she helped it so they could bring SummerSlam to New Jersey, and they treat her like God's gift to. Vince McMahon says, by the way, I don't know if he says it here, maybe he did, but I think he says it on Raw that she is going to be the first female president. That's what Vince McMahon says.
No,
She
I
didn't.
think he does mention it. He mentions it. Um, I think before they bring her up.
I do wish he was the president now. We're kind of. I do think maybe that would have been a better reality.
It would
Maybe
have just still been great for the WWE.
he thought about confronting Vince and being like, "Why don't we make her the next president? What is she doing right now? Let's fucking get on
What
this."
was her party affiliation?
Republican, but she wasn't.
But she was reasonable.
She wasn't a MAGA. Yeah, she was
No.
not MAGA. So she brought because of she believed in the Los Barriquas. So you know. So anyway, all right, we got very depressed thinking about how this woman should have been the president.
I mean, the segment was funny. I don't know
Boy.
if we want to start with that or start with the first match, but that
Well,
segment
I
was
would
great.
I would start with this is one of my favorite video packages every that they've done. The video package is if the world were fair, and then they go through
Yeah.
all the drama that Brett, Shawn, and Undertaker are going on. And the great thing about the theme of WWF in '97 is this is not business as usual. There's so much drama. Uh, all the happy-go-lucky guys are now miserable, and it's funny because it does reflect what was happening in the back. That there was drama, the world was not fair. And I think also the theme of if the world were fair, I think Vince is like, it's reading into Vince's psyche. And I think Vince is like, the world was fair. I'd be the number one company, not WCW, because we're putting on better shows right now. And at least, well, they're telling better stories. I don't know if they're having better matches. Kyle, did you enjoy this video package?
I did. I did enjoy the package. I thought it was, I don't know if Vince Russo wrote it or Vince McMahon wrote it or both. It was a really good way to set up the show and set up what everybody was going through at the time. So I really liked it.
Yeah, Prateek?
Yeah, it was a good package. I think that's something always WWF WWE should get credit for is their video packages. My understanding is according to Cornette, I believe like Kevin Dunn had a hand in some of the video packages back in the day. I know these days Kevin Dunn's not there and they have different people editing it. But yeah, those hype videos, that's part of what sells these pay-per-views to me. And yeah, they do a good job with them, and it does tell the story. I think that's what you were trying to say is that WCW maybe was doing better in the ratings, but I think story wise, WWF at the time was just doing more with the backstage, trying to blend in that realism. For so long, WWF was, Doink the Clown and cartoon characters, but I think now they're really like, I think WWF at the time was like, hey, we're going to make it a little more realistic. We're going to ground it a little bit. And I thought it was great. It excited me for the main event. It did its job.
Yes.
And it didn't drag either. That's the other thing. It was in and out.
Oh, the package? Prateek, you said the video package didn't drag?
I didn't think it dragged. It was perfect. It was the right amount.
Okay. So we're gonna get into the first match. But before we get into the first match, because we're gonna go match by match here. That's what we do on the show. Overall, what did you guys think of the event overall? Well, let's start with Kyle once again. Kyle, overall, what are your feelings on this event?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I think it's probably one match. You probably know like what match that is. And I was like, this wasn't needed. But I think it was a pretty solid show. I didn't really have any like complaints. I didn't think it dragged too long. Yeah, Bret Hart won, so I enjoyed it.
Prateek, your thoughts on the show?
Yeah,
Before we get
overall it was a great paper. It was refreshing to be like, whoa, a 2 hour pay-per-view. Like just we're not used to that anymore. So it definitely didn't drag, but maybe that's just, the conditioning of what pay-per-views are now. And again, like just you know what I was getting into as I was watching how the crowd was reacting. It's interesting what the crowd at that time was into, the makeup of that crowd. It was very interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed the show overall. I thought the crowd was happy as well. They knew when to react at the right times. It was great. Yeah, there was maybe one or two things I was like, wait, what? But the wrestling itself was fine. I was very happy.
Something that is really frustrating though, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Because we talked about Nick Khan earlier and the changing of the network and the fact that Raw, and I had this happen too because sometimes there's streams on different platforms that just show Raws, and if you miss something, you just miss it. But the fact that I can't just pop in a Raw after SummerSlam or Raw before SummerSlam and see what's going on anymore is so frustrating because you're like, what if this Peacock show got me invested? I wanted to see the rest of the story. I can't. I can't see it because you guys took off Raw and Raw is nowhere to be found. And it's really, really annoying.
By the way, I did watch that Raw, at least the opening, and it is a good Raw, but they do something that they just wouldn't do nowadays. They have Owen Hart. Bret Hart comes out and gives "I told you so" speech. Owen Hart brags about breaking Austin's neck, and then they have Austin walk out. They have Austin walk out, and they shouldn't have done this. And I mean, for his health. And Austin talks about how his neck isn't that damaged, and he would be in the ring whooping his ass, but WWE won't allow him. But when Owen Lisa, he and I think he almost like runs to the ring. I know they have Owen doing. I mean, they have Steve Austin doing stuff. He should not have been at that show. I just think that they're so panicked because they have nothing besides him that they drag him out there, and it's just very dangerous and very stupid. But they're lucky. They're lucky they got what they got out of Austin because man, when you rewatch that injury or in this show, they could have been his life could have been over, man. You know.
Is that Raw on Netflix or is that Raw's
No, I watched it
that
months
the fight
ago.
is over? Okay. You're
On Peacock.
smart.
VHS somewhere.
Peacock worked. Yeah, we're never gonna see it again. So uh, they're gonna rewrite history that the cell phone that we always had these cell phone filters in WWE shows. All right, so first match. Let's go match by match now. The first match we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Mankind. Of course, me and Kyle have been watching the shows. At King of the Ring, Triple H destroyed Mankind. His first showing as a badass. The next month, it was a double disqualification. The two fucking brawl over the arena, which made Canadian Stampede. I think that brawl added an extra touch to that show, which is why people remember it so fondly. Now, finally, these guys, their anger has to be contained in a cage. They're in a steel cage match, and I'm watching a steel cage match. Hell of a steel cage match. Great brawl. Mankind does the Superfly jump. The crowd chants for Superfly because New Jersey has always loved murderers. So nice. Um, by, by the way, I know I'm like shitting all over TKO. The fact that like they just like the fact that like they honored this murderer so many times, and it wasn't even like he was Hulk Hogan level. It was like he was a 70 and like, anyway. But it worked. They brawl all over the cage. It's a hell of a match. Mankind wins by escaping. China interferes. Her interference doesn't really work out. Overall, I enjoyed this match. What really got to me while watching this match was the fact that both men are now involved in stand-up comedy, which is a mind fuck for me to see these guys. When I watched the show, I wasn't even in stand up comedy, and if you told me that these two guys are going to be involved in stand up comedy, I'd be like, "What the fuck is happening in stand up comedy?"
Yeah.
It's dying. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So let's go over here. So overall, I thought this was a great match. It was a great opener, and it was a great way to get Mankind over as a face. I think this is the match that kind of elevated him into a serious face. So let's talk about this. Kyle, your thoughts on this match?
I thought it was a good match. I remember vividly the elbow from the top of the cage. Mankind. I thought he lost, just like how Snooker lost. I thought he lost. So I was surprised when I saw that he won. Um, because I thought that was like the end of the feud, but then later on, Cactus, maybe it's the end of the Mankind feud, and then Cactus Jack comes in, and then they really blow it off finally. But I thought it was good. I thought it was good for Mankind, good for Triple H, and a great way to start off the show.
Yeah. And Prateek, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, great way to start the show. Like it's always that thing of okay, like nowadays the cage is always hanging at the beginning of the pay per view and they use it later, but it's kind of nice to start with the cage. In the old school blue cage. Like I know Bret Hart and wrestlers have talked about how painful it was, but there is something to you can like the bars are a little wider so you can see into the cage more. Like I would have loved to have been there live for a blue steel cage match, and I still think there is something to bringing back for one night only the blue steel cage match, because for the fans itself while they're there you can see into it a little bit more. The way it makes a sound, you can feel it, you can feel the pain. I like it. I think it'd be nice to throw back to it. So a bit of trivia that I mentioned earlier when I mentioned the Punjabi prison, the guy who does the archive stuff, Ben, I think his name is. Apparently, the original Punjabi prison, they just painted over the blue steel cage and made that for the Batista Kali match. It's a painted blue steel cage for the inner working. So I just find that fascinating.
I never knew that.
And then for the match itself, they kind of started like they got right into it. There was no like testosterone or holds. They went straight for it. There was like a suplex like right off the cage, like within the first minute of the match too. Like I found that wild. The mandible claw also, he did that like within like they did their finishers kind of early on. So I like that. It was a good way to do it. I forgot the kind of Hunter Hearst Helms, like he's doing the bowing. He's kind of the aristocrat. So it was making me laugh how much he was like, I'm still bowing and doing it, because that's when I think of Triple H, I think of the game, but we forget that he had that, the evolution of the character hadn't happened yet. So yeah, it was a fun throwback for me because I'm a big fan of both of them. You also saw shades of Cactus Jack in the match too. He was doing like the bang bang at one point too, and the crowd was into it. I think Ray, you mentioned this, like over the match, the evolution of that match, you see like the crowd get more into Mankind, and you see him kind of show shades of Cactus Jack, and again, can't forget that old school Mankind theme with the violins, very very creepy, very macabre. So it's nice to see. It was a good throwback for me. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I think the reason why people got excited about the Cactus Jack thing is they didn't do that back in the day.
No.
If you had old gimmick, that gimmick was just gone. And the fact that he's slowly like alluding to Cactus Jack things like Bang Bang and stuff, I think the crowd is like, wow, you're not insulting my intelligence anymore. Because a year ago you pretended like this guy came out of nowhere,
right,
and you've seen him before and he's Mankind, and now you're like, no, he had a whole career in WCW and we're gonna talk about it now. And I think that got people excited because it's like it does feel the thing. I think the reason why I got back into it in '98, it felt like they were done insulting our intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What it felt like. And now they're back to insulting our intelligence in 2025. It felt like they were like, yeah, we know that you read the black and white magazines. We know that you follow the other companies. We're not going to pretend like you don't anymore. And that was refreshing. And so I think when kind of does the bang bang, the crowd is like, they no longer think we're idiots. Oh,
yeah.
This is great, So
Also,
yes.
they were testing the waters for the because Cactus Jack premieres at the debuts at the September 22nd Raw. So maybe seeing that reaction, they finally signed off, because it ends with him doing the Dude Love, like he turns into Dude Love once he like leaves the cage, and then we later get Cactus Jack. So I guess this was all leading to there, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great Raw. So there's a box set of the 20 best Raws ever that they put out in 2013, and that's one of the Raws on there, and it's a great Raw. That's also the first time Vince got hit with a stunner.
I was at that Raw.
Bert, damn. See, and that's also the Raw where Vince tells Brett he can't honor the contract, and we're gonna have to ruin your life and kill your brother. So,
Well, they didn't show that part.
No.
So that we get it. So like, there's a big tribute to Governor Whitman. The headbangers come out. Nothing's more punk than praising a Republican. Actually, you know what? Nowadays, punk. These punk rockers are praising the Republicans, like Kid Rock and stuff. So the headbangers were ahead of their time. But Gorilla Monsoon, the headbangers, and Tom Bentagale, they basically all blow the Governor Whitman. And the reason for this is they're taking down the cage, which is why they are doing this tribute to Whitman. So when you watch the show, you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of dumb. But it makes sense is that they need time to kill and they needed to do a little ceremony for her anyway. So overall, like when I watched this earlier, like when I was younger, I would think this thing was a waste of time, but I kind of understand it. Kyle, what did you think of this tribute to who should have been our future dictator, Governor.
I never thought about them just stalling time to take down the cage. I was watching this part with my brother, and I was like, "Well, I don't know." I was like, I didn't know what they were gonna do. I was like watching them bring her out with somebody like the Headbangers or something like that, and then the Headbangers came out, and I just thought it was so funny that that was who I predicted, and it was actually the Headbanger of all people to come out with her. Yeah, they're glad handing and cool, and then we're done. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Uh,
That's all it was. I had more fun predicting that the Headbangers actually came out.
Dude, the Headbangers were like the original Bella Twins because whenever they wanted like to have a wrestler they wanted to have wrestlers with a celebrity, they would just shove the Bella Twins in with the celebrity, and that's kind of what the Headbangers are right here. Like here's wrestlers because I think also like it's a good photo op when it's in the newspaper because they look so much like wrestlers. I'm talking about the Headbangers. They look so much like wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like they look like
Yeah.
goofy wrestlers. So it's like oh look, they're almost like Muppets. These
They
two guys.
look like the wrestlers you'll see in like a cereal commercial or Family Matters or something.
Yeah, that's what the headbangers look like. And yeah, it is funny. Prateek, our true leader of our MAGA cult, Christine Whitman, what'd you think of this tribute there?
Yeah, I just at one point I was like, wait, why are they doing this? But then they kind of talked about the I guess it's like an entertainment tax or something. So she levied against it. So it's funny. The package kind of educates you. I'm curious if the live crowd got that package because when she comes out, you can hear boos initially. Like, and so I almost felt like, oh, they needed the headbangers there to kind of, kind of maybe the people will cheer because I guess they were faces at the time. I never could understand if the headbangers were heels or faces. They always got mixed reactions. But and then the commentators mentioned they were from New Jersey, so I don't know if that was like billed or they're actually from New Jersey. So maybe that helped with some of the booze.
Those guys are from New Jersey. By
Yeah,
the way, you unlocked a memory. She was not popular. She was not a popular political figure in this area. Certainly she did. I mean, I wasn't. I'm not reading about New Jersey politics when I'm 16 years old. Certainly, this helped out Vince, and maybe long term this helped out New Jersey, but people did not like her.
was this the start of Vince's political connections?
Well, it was certainly the end of Christine Whitman. Kyle, will you be voting for Christine Whitman if we ever have a free election again?
Probably not. Not me.
Uh,
Maybe if it was ranked choice voting, then I'd give her like the lower rank.
it's just, oh my god. I mean, people thought she was a Looney Tune back then, and she seems so normal compared to JD Vance and fucking.
Right.
Like, how bad is it gonna get in 20 years? Because I think this kid, like, well, JD Vance was so normal, and this new guy, so we're so screwed.
I
We're
just
so.
keep thinking that we're only 9 months in. Every time something new happens, I'm like, we're only 9 months in.
9 months
It's
ago.
crazy.
All right. Speaking of not a lot of time left, let's talk about Brian Pillman in 1997. So,
Oh no.
hey, come on over here. So it's Brian Pillman versus Goldust in a WCW '92 tribute match.
That's what it felt like.
The stipulation here is if Pillman wins, he gets Marlena. If Goldust wins, Pillman has to wear a dress because, and then he's no longer allowed to participate in men's activities, according to President Trump. Um, so this match, I kind of feel like 5 years before this, 4 years before this, this would have been a great match. This was a little rough. Pillman is hurt. His ankle didn't heal the way it should have. He probably shouldn't have been in the ring at this point. Goldust is getting fatter by the second. He's gained a tremendous amount of weight since King of the Ring, and that was only 2 months ago. These guys usually kill it, but is was rough. I think they're both in bad places personally, and I don't know. It's just I expect a lot more from this, but it was kind of eh. Kyle, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was just kind of there. I remember as a kid being shocked that Pillman lost, and then he had to wear the dress, which he does eventually. But like you said, in WCW '92, even '94, or even early '95 before the accident, this match would have been incredible. And it was just there. Both of them were going through, I guess, a lot of things, divorces, personal life problems. I don't know if Goldust was on or off, whatever he was on at the time, and it just didn't deliver the way that we know they could deliver.
Mhm. It was very disappointing because when I looked at this card when I got back into wrestling, I assumed this was a good match. When I saw it, I was shocked at what bad shape. And these guys are still young, and they're like broken down old men. Prateek, your thoughts?
Yeah, again, like it's one of those things where if they had been injured, or if they hadn't been injured, or if they'd been in better places, it would be a great match. But it was, and then also I'm looking at Wikipedia of the Times right now. That was the shortest match of the night. So it's that thing of, it felt like they had to do all these stipulations and things to kind of, you know, smoke and mirrors their injuries and their personal problems. And like you said, yeah, Goldust, he was gaining a lot of weight at the time. Like he was a big boy at the time. So yeah, it's a shame because I like both of them. I'm still a big Dustin Rhodes fan. It would have been nice to see them on house shows. I was trying to look up some house show cards. I guess they did face each other in house shows before this, so maybe if somebody can find the VHS of those house shows, maybe they tore it up better on the house shows. But this unfortunately felt like a bathroom break match.
Yeah, which was sad. And the other crazy, I think Puma's last match is with Goldust at a house show.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, these guys feud till the end, and then Brian Pillman dies, and Goldust dies inside. So, next match, it's the Godwins versus the Road Warriors. Now, the background of this is on Shotgun Night of all places. The Road Warriors broke Henry Godwin's neck with a bad doomsday device. To be frank, I'm surprised it didn't happen more because they are very stiff in that, and that's a hard bump to take. The Godwins, however, are the heels now, I guess, because even when they were faces, most people thought they stunk, and one of the main reasons why people didn't take WWE seriously. So they're heels now. Now I watched this. I have the SummerSlam box set, so I watched this on DVD. They came out to their heel theme, which is basically like a creepy violin. Did they have that theme on Peacock, guys?
No, I don't. They get rid of a Country Boy, and they get rid of for whatever reason they dubbed over all Gowan matches with this like banjo music,
So even
which
this
is
entrance has the banjo music.
so grating. What happened?
Even this entrance has that shitty banjo.
Yeah, I think every Godwin match I just replaced whatever the theme song was with the banjo music, and I'm just like, Jesus. I don't know. I thought they owned the rights to Country Boy. Like Hillbilly Jim sings it. I don't understand why that song's not there.
But well, it's not country anymore. It's this creepy, slow moving violin. Like
Or even that. Yeah, they should have the rights to that, but
yeah,
they
and
for whatever reason it's dubbed over.
that song changes like everything when they walk out because it's like now it's like oh these guys would be taken seriously like it's this like it kind of starts off kind of friendly but it has like this evil undertone to it so
Hmm.
oh you thought it's almost like when you're at a southern bar and you think like these southern people are so hospitable and then they turn you're like oh these people were never my friends like
Yeah.
that song gives out like oh like I thought these were silly southern guys and now these are people that can hurt me, you know what I'm saying?
I mean they walk out with the Confederate flag, so like
Yeah,
holding it,
that
which
was
is like,
all
oh my God.
they come out with the Confederate.
Like proudly holding it up. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, cool. This is the kind of match we're having.
But see, I like it when they're that scumbaggy when they turn heel. I mean, I don't know. I just being proud, but it's not like it's seen as now it'd be seen as a good thing, like but like I don't
They'd
know.
be
I
the
like
biggest baby faces. And the Nation of Domination didn't attack them or nothing. They had no feud with the Nation. But it was just, I guess, a way to let you know the Godwins of old are gone.
well, it's funny because it was all over the Dukes of Hazzard, and a lot of some face wrestlers had the Confederate flag on them. I kind of thought that at some point, as a kid, between the Civil War and the '90s, because sometimes the meaning behind symbols can change.
Hmm.
I kind of thought that everyone in the country agreed that this was now just a symbol for Southern pride, and it was not like a racist thing anymore. I thought everyone had a meeting. I don't know, but I guess no one did. We just all kind of accepted it. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
think Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Elvis had a meeting, and they're like, "No, this is Southern pride
No,
now."
we're cool with it now. Stone
Yeah,
Cold had a shirt with the Confederate, like an '04. Like on the
yeah,
back of his like "fuck fear" shirt, it's like the Confederate flag with skulls or something. I don't know,
yeah.
but
And that was never. We never had that meeting, so it was still racist. But
yeah, no one invited me.
1972 or something. um, it is funny because only in wrestling do you ever see this fucking Confederate. I don't see you never see it anywhere else, but in wrestling, the Confederate flag is all over the place in pro wrestling. Isn't it crazy?
It's a little much. I remember in college, I had a roommate who asked me, and maybe he was trying to kick me out. He asked me if he could hang it up, but he had it in his room, like in his own room. And I was just like, I was already like out the door because I was like living with these like three redneck guys and another like Middle Eastern dude. And it's like not the people that, not because of who they are, but the people I want to live with, like my friends. So I was planning to do that for the longest. So I didn't really care. And as long as it was in his room, I was like, I'm not gonna be in your room. I don't give a shit if it's in there. But I guess at least he asked me. I don't know. It was still a weird position to be in.
I don't know if
Maybe
permission makes it okay.
No, I'm just like, I'm gonna be out of here in like a month, so
Wasn't
I
worth
don't want you. Yeah, wasn't worth it.
hang it over your bed, Kyle. Is that like you're cool with that, right?
Well, if that's different, if he was like, if I'm waking up and he's like holding it like in my face, I'm
it.
like,
Yeah.
okay, no, it's a problem. But he's in his own room. He has his own room. I can't tell you what to do in your room. I don't have to like it.
Yeah.
I can't tell
Well,
you what to do in your room. And he was like, it's not because of racist. It's a flag. I'm like, whatever, dude.
okay. I'm not a racist. I just love this racist flag. All right, here we go.
I'm leaving anyway.
So it's the Road Warriors versus the Godwins, and I when I saw this as again years ago, I'd be like, why are they fighting the Godwins? But I have to admit, the Godwins make much better heels than faces. They're just two big Southern guys. You forget how scary two big Southern guys could be if they don't give a shit. You
Oh,
know,
I've never forgotten.
you and I like the Godwins as heels. I think they always should have been heels. Vince has a way of like taking guys who are big and impressive and like taking all the fucking juice out of them and making them look like fucking. Because I would just when I was younger I'd be like Henry Godwin's a pussy, Phineas is an idiot, and like then you see them in these outfits, you're like, oh, these are fucking scary guys. These are scary human beings. And this match was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's a lot of power moves. The Godwins feel much more confident as heels. They feel like they know what they're doing more as heels. And I think this was a good showcase because the Road Warriors on the shows we've been watching have been made to look like idiots now for months. It's a horrible use of the Road Warriors. Again, it's like Edge. If you're not going to use Edge the way it should be, don't have Edge. Same thing with the Road Warriors. If you're not going to portray them as badasses, don't have them here, but the Road Warriors do win. The Legion of Doom does win. I thought it was a lot of fun. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't think it was anything besides the flag offensive. It was a solid match between big hoss wrestlers. I do think the Godwins are working better as heels, even though I was a kid, so I liked Henry and Phineas and the storyline with Sunny and all that until I grew up and realized they drew shit on her, literally. Um,
We're happy about it. They still brag about it to this day.
they're very proud of throwing shit on Sunny, which look, she's not a great person, but you don't gotta do that. Yeah, it was just kind of one of these matches. It's like it was a big Haas match. I think they do like a spike power driver in it, which I thought was crazy to do to someone who just came back from neck surgery. But yeah, nothing harmful. Just a Haas match with these guys.
Prateek, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was the original big men slapping meat match. It was. There were a couple stiff moments. I winced at a couple things, which is what I want in a big hoss match. I think it's that thing of Vince is he's a northern boy, he's a Yankee, so he doesn't have a much affinity for the South. So it did feel like, and this was in New Jersey too, so it felt like okay, the Southern boys are going to come in as heels with the flag, and so yeah, they're going to get trounced by the Northern Warriors. So it felt very much in line with Vince booking. And anti-Southern booking.
I hate the South. Fuck them. Fuck the BCW. So now we get to probably the longest, most awkward segments.
Oh no.
A terrible idea. Poor Todd Pentagon. This is the last time we ever see Todd Pentagon, by the way, on WWF. This is it. He doesn't do a Raw. He doesn't do a. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say like the last time with Todd Pettingill and the first time for Michael Cole. They kind of have like the passing the torch moment.
Yes. And Sonny and Sable are there with the two winners. They're gonna do this sweepstakes. They're gonna call people. They're gonna pick numbers. The one thing about the segment I will say is that, yeah, I kind of get. I sometimes you forget. You just have a vision in your mind, but you kind of forget. I understand why Vince went with Sable over Sonny when you see the segment. I'm like, whoa, Sable. I forget like how gorgeous she was as a woman, but wow.
See,
So,
I think Sunny was hotter. I don't know. Sable always kind of had that like old lady feel to her. Like she had like the veiny hands and stuff. I mean, no one else was looking at her hands,
Yeah.
but sometimes like in her face, I don't know. I always like Sable. I mean, Sunny over Sable.
you go to Vince McMahon. Look at her veiny hands. She has hands.
Exactly.
She get
But
hands.
she always kind of had an older look to her, which I mean, I guess she was older than Sunny,
Right.
but I don't
Yeah.
know. I always liked Sunny over Sable.
This 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 segment is horrible, and I want my shows uncut and uncensored. But if this got cut when they re-upload this to ESPN or wherever, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I mean, they cut out the Roddy Piper Bad News Brown match.
Yeah.
They
Oh, they cut out the whole match or just the promo? I thought it was
so
the
they match at WrestleMania 6 on the
They
network.
should just replace this segment with Roddy Piper versus Bad News
yeah.
Brown.
Better. They cut out the WrestleMania rain delay. The one in 2021. So they cut out a lot of things. They can cut this out. This is atrocious. This is really bad. They do go out of their way to let people know that this contest was a shoot. Because the contest was a shoot, it fucking stunk. Kyle, your thoughts?
It was bad. It was really bad. I mean that kid, at least he got a hug from Sable. Sonny, one of the two. Sonny, I think, hugged him. So at least he got that. And he shouldn't have wore shorts that day. I'm just saying. If you're
Yeah.
getting a hug from Sonny and Sable, probably want to wear some jeans or something. But it sucked. It sucked. It was long. Not a way for Todd Pettengill to go out, but oof. Maybe
In a
that's why they
way,
keep it. They want to laugh at it.
it is kind of the best way for Todd to go out because he was like in the face of the worst era, and this is the worst segment.
I love
And,
Pettengill. He was making a lot of like sunny breast jokes. He kept doing that, like put it lower, do that, do that. And also you could really tell that Sunny and Sable do not like each other. Like the body language, Sable's over here, Sunny's over there. They are never like in sync with each other. They are not friends at all.
No, no. And it's so funny because if they were friends and worked together, I think that they probably could have ushered in a women's division much faster than how it happened if they were like willing to work together. But the women all had jealousy. China, Sunny, Sable, Luna, they all worked against each other. And then they were all also probably all getting harassed and stuff. So
Yeah.
it took a little longer for women to be taken seriously. But I do believe that if these women were all got along, because do you know what the original? By the way, guys, before we continue, do you know what the original pitch for SmackDown was? Do you remember?
An
Do you
all
know?
women show.
An all women
Really?
show, and they just didn't find the talent, and they just didn't find people that got along to do
It
it.
would have been Akira Hokuto against
Can you
I don't
imagine?
even know, Ivory.
Can you imagine the world where like SmackDown has been an all women show now for like 25 years, and Raw has been the men's show? Like that's crazy. Again, like Vince was always willing to go with a women's division. I just feel like sometimes the women stood in his way. I don't know.
You don't think Candice Michelle could have been the lead of an all women SmackDown?
Well, no, like Sonny and Sable causing so much drama. It's like, how can
Yeah,
I? Okay,
not worth it.
Pete, your thoughts on this segment? I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, it was very forgettable. I felt again another bathroom break segment. I feel like I said, or like Kyle said, at least the kid got a hug, from Sonny. Although all things considered, what's happened with Sonny is that hug might be problematic now. But yeah, I like Todd Pettingill. I believe they when NXT was doing those in your house tributes, I believe they brought him back for that, so he has resurfaced again. Um, And then if I'm not mistaken, I was reading, I guess Todd was the one that referred Michael Cole to WWF. So you have Todd Pettingill to thank for 20 plus years or 30 plus years of Michael Cole.
Oh wow.
He-
PLJ is gone now, right? 95. Like he used to be a 95.5 PLJ in New York, and I think that like went away last year or
Okay.
it became whatever. They
away in
changed the formatting or something again.
2019.
What happened?
It went away in 2019.
2019. Jesus, I don't know time. I thought it was like
It's been
last
a
year.
blur of these last 5 years. It's been
Yeah.
He's been doing a podcast, which is the same format of those mornings news shows, and I don't know. I don't think anyone listens to it. I think the thing about it is that format does not work in podcast form, which is the hey everybody,
Yeah.
morning show kind of.
I was just talking to my brother. They don't do radio parody songs anymore, right? That's the thing in the past as well, right?
do them. It's just like not in we but again we don't listen like sometimes I'll do these fake phone calls for terrestrial radio. It's a different world out there on that. It's still like that weird like hey world. We know Spotify and YouTube Music, and we don't. That world is still out there. It still exists. I don't know who
Well,
it's,
good for them.
but it's still out there because it's
Good.
like no one I know listens to the radio in their car. They all just listen to Spotify or podcasts. But it's out there. Hopefully, listen to our podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're the real
All right.
drive.
Next up,
We'll do radio parodies.
Yeah.
there we go. We'll do air filter parodies. Next up, the Bulldog, British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith takes on Ken Shamrock. And again, now Bulldog loses. He has to eat a thing of dog food. Okay. Uh, Jim Cornette, by the way, came up with all these stipulations for this show. Very, very
Really?
subtle. Yeah. So this match, it's okay. Shamrock isn't where he's going to be in just a few months. Bulldog and him don't have the best chemistry. The finish is kind of weird. However, the post match where Shamrock just destroys everybody, I think was really well done. It establishes Shamrock as a Looney Tune, which they're going to really play into over '98, especially with the feud with The Rock. It was all right, this match. I didn't think it was that great, but what did you think, Kyle?
I remember it being clunky when I was a kid too. I was like waiting for something to happen, and then he got like hit with the dog food, and then just loses his mind. And I didn't think the punishment fit the crime personally. I mean, you got slapped with some dog food, and then you pretty much try to kill the guy. I don't think it was that bad, but that's what that's the established. Like you said, the Ken Shamrock. I'm in the zone, screaming,
Yeah.
bug-eyed Shamrock, which we had for the next 2 years after that. So it was a shame that he didn't win the title because I think they were trying to build him. Maybe they lost confidence in him at the time because from
Well,
what we saw a couple months before, he beats Vader to now where he doesn't win the title. You're like, oh, okay.
well, the thing about it is, Jim Ross was saying that like he wanted to push him seriously, but he was no showing events and he was on drugs. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that early on. So they kind of like eventually they had to like just kind of put him in his own little corner. And and Jim Ross especially wanted to, but he had demons. They
Those
say that
damn drugs.
Prateek, what did you think of this match?
It was that thing of, okay, we can't, we're in an era where we can't just have wrestling. We have to have, dress stipulations and dog food stipulations. And I'm wondering, were they doing these stipulations just because, like, okay, it's SummerSlam, we have to build a little bit more and have, like, some higher stakes. So it did feel like a bit of a stretch with this. Okay, wait, they have to eat dog food. Like, well, what are we doing? And the way the dog food was just presented on on like the announce table, like it's there, it could be a weapon, whereas, again, I still feel like if this was a different era, Ken Shamrock and Bulldog could have had maybe a little more chemistry or maybe had like more of a technical match, but it was still entertaining for what it was. And I think, yeah, I'm always a fan of the unhinged Ken Shamrock, and clearly the crowd was really into it. And I guess, I wasn't sure too much of Ken Shamrock's kind of evolution at this point, but yeah, this was sort of the introduction of the bug-eyed maniac with the blood coming out of his mouth or whatever. Had they already done Was the Vader match the one where he got like power bombed and he started bleeding, like it was like a ruptured like internal bleeding or something, or was that a different match where he had?
The Vader that was his first match. Was Vader at the In Your House in May?
Yeah,
And that match is really good.
yeah,
And because Ken Shamrock is still kind of like fighting for real, and
yeah.
Vader,
That grounded, blur the lines a little bit. Yeah,
yeah. So that match was good. I just don't. I think he was. I think Bulldog is only good if you're good. So if Bulldog with like Will Ospreay, it's 5 stars.
yeah.
If Bulldog is in the ring with Canadian Earthquake, shut the TV off. This is the worst thing ever.
Bathroom break.
So it depends on the worker. It depends on the worker, and Shamrock wasn't ready yet, and Bulldog kind of floundered. So
He kind of floundered. I mean, he might have been on some stuff too. I mean, you know the famous story about '92 SummerSlam where Bulldog was like literally like he's like I can't do this, and Brett's like I'll lead the way, which Brett loves to lead the way anyway, so it was perfect, you know. So there you go. His best match was because he was on crack.
Is it a SummerSlam if they're not on drugs? Oh, come on.
Yeah. um,
listen,
I love Bulldog's face when he was like getting squeezed out. He really, you know, probably was actually getting squeezed because he sold. He definitely sold for Shamrock. You know, he made him look like a maniac. I don't know if that was the plan, but he did his job.
yeah, I do think that was the plan to make him look like a maniac. And also I think the plan is it's so funny because it's like, oh, this guy will hit you for real while our guys hit you for fake. So it was good. I didn't enjoy it, but it got the job done what it was trying to push forward.
Yeah.
Now here's something that does not get the job done at all. So the Nation of Domination is broken up, and now the Nation is just all black guys. So Crush is out, Savio's out. Crush comes back with Disciples of the Apocalypse, which is his white racist gang of bikers.
This is the match.
Featuring 2 real Nazis, Ron and Don Harris, and a guy who beats his wife with chains.
Oh,
We have those people. And in retaliation, Savio Vega picks up Gorilla Monsoon's illegitimate children from Puerto Rico, Los Barricos, and he comes with his team. Now we see this all in the video package. What I don't understand, and what the video package does not explain, and maybe they explain it on Raw, is that even though Savio and Crush were kicked out of the Nation of Domination, they start feuding with each other, and not the Nation, which is barely not even on this show. But Los Barriquas and Disciples of Apocalypse hate each other, and they're fighting all over every building, which has led to this 8-man tag. Is the Disciples of the Apocalypse taking on Los Barriquas. And this match fucking stinks. Because, number one, none of these guys are good workers. You've introduced 6 new guys. I still can't tell you the names. I know the names of like everything, bro. I can tell you names of the people in Los Barriquas. I don't know. Most of them have no personality. There's no personality to Skull, 8-Ball, Chains, or Miguel Perez, or any. They're just bodies. So these guys, and nobody cared about Crush or Savio Vega anyway. So it just stinks. It stinks. It's horrible. It's a waste of time. Nobody cares. This was stupid. Kyle, your thoughts?
I think the worst thing about going back and watching these is now the glass has been shattered on Crush, who I loved so much as a kid. And
Yeah.
every Crush match I've had to watch for these shows has been abysmal. And I think I have had to second guess my love of this wrestler. Not good. I liked the Disciples of Apocalypse as a kid. They would not have liked me, but I liked them. I remember being really into this feud with them and Los Barriquas and the Nation. And wow, some things you don't need to go back and watch. And I'm upset that that the glass has been shattered and it was actually really bad. So if you are watching this, feel free to skip or make a lunch or something.
Prateek, your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, this is definitely a do laundry, do the dishes match. Just kind of have it on, whatever. I get that maybe Vince was trying to do, or maybe Vince Russo or someone was like into this idea of gang warfare, but you know, you can't really have you can't just have a regular tag match. You'd have to have some stipulations. Like this would be a match to put in some stipulations or weapons or something. You know, maybe they could have done that. But still, I don't know how much that would have helped. Like you said, it didn't feel like there was any chemistry storyline wise. Like, no, you guys got kicked out. Wouldn't you fight the group that kicked you out? Like it didn't really make any sense. It felt like sometimes you watch a match like, oh, this is gonna be a good car wreck. This was a bad car wreck. This was no. This is I'm not standing and watching this. I'm driving away. So yeah.
And then the other thing with this, and even the Truth Commission, is that when I got back, it is very confusing. You're introducing six new guys. There's no personality to them. They're all just bodies. And then you go with the Truth Commission and you use four. So you've got like 9 or 10 new guys that are just bodies. You've done nothing to make anyone give a shit about. And it's just like, you read the results because this keeps going. These guys, these groups have
they keep feuding
all throughout up until like when Austin wins the belt, and it just blends together. And like you read the results of and it just feels like you hired 6 guys to kill time on Raw, and the B shows because you didn't have enough guys. So you're like, well, we'll just have Savio Vega bring in his friends, and it's not good. It's not good. It's a good idea, but you should have done more to like. What I say, you should have done more, but who's going to give a shit about Shane, Skull, and April? Like, there's no reality where you can make those guys interesting.
You're right. I mean, again, I keep saying as a kid, they were just cool biker people. They were like biker mice from Mars. I don't know. But then yeah, exactly. Well, watching us I knew he was fake Undertaker. So I was like, oh cool. And I remember him in ECW because he just chokes or Brian Lee chokes him Tommy Dreamer off of tons of tables.
Oh yeah.
But it was just maybe you got to be 8. Maybe you got to be 8 to enjoy these group. And then once you turn 9 or up, and then you're like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah. All right. So now we get to one of the most important, one of the most match basically changes wrestling history. This match, Owen Hart versus Steve Austin. Now, Kyle, I think we watched the May pay-per-view and we were like, the reactions are there for Austin, but it's not that extreme. When Austin walks out of this show, the crowd is on fire. Like he is firmly the man. And again, we get more drops of what would lead to because Vince goes, I don't know why they love him, but they love him. He comes out to a tremendous applause. The stipulation of this match is if Austin loses, he has to kiss Owen Hart's ass. Match starts. Austin is having a great technical match. This is going to be the end of Austin wrestling this kind of style. But this match is terrific. He breaks out the stun gun. They're just delivering on all levels. And if the injury doesn't happen, I could easily see this being the match of the night. These guys had tremendous chemistry in the ring. Owen Hart tries something. He's never done this before, at least not on pay-per-view. I don't know. I haven't watched all his Raw matches. He does a tombstone pile driver, which also is kind of weird to do because that's Undertaker's finisher, and you're just using it as a standard move. And he fucks it up, and he breaks Austin's neck. And knowing what we know now, they handle this all wrong. Austin has to win. He can't lose because of how his character. He's talked about this on podcasts. He has to win. He can't lose, but he can't move. And somehow he musters the strength to do the shittiest roll up ever. Owen has to kill time. And then they carry Austin out of the ring. He tries to walk because, again, he's trying to protect that character. But it is a miracle that this guy kept going after this match. I don't know why Owen thought it would be a smart move to do a tombstone pile driver as a transition move in this match. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did it. It's wrong. He's such a great technical worker. I kind of understand when you really watch this match and you see what happened when you're sitting here why Austin was so mad at him because he could have basically if Austin can't walk, I don't know if WWF is in business right now. It was a great match until that moment, and that moment kind of puts a stain on that match because it's like, man, like what could have been if he didn't have that injury, and also like what could have been for Owen if he didn't have that injury, and also, like, they did so many things wrong, and I'm wondering if they just carried Austin out, if he could have had a longer career. Very, very mixed. It's a great match, but it's also a sad match. Let's give out our thoughts, and then I want to do a little hypotheticals with you guys. Kyle, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, you know about the moment so much you forget that this match was actually a good match before that tombstone. You completely forget about it because you just only focus on the injury, which is unfortunate. I think it's also a weird twist of fate because Stone Cold did that tombstone to, I found this out recently, the Chono, Masahiro Chono, the same
Mhm.
spike tombstone, and it further damaged Chono's neck and had to shorten his career as well. Well, he wrestled for a long time, but it's almost like a, it's a crazy moment like that. So, but when that happens, I don't know if Austin's fighting the move because you see him kicking, like he's not in position. He's
Yeah.
kicking, he's kind of trying to fight it. I don't know if that's in character or he just doesn't want to take the hold. And then for Owen to uncharacteristically dump him on his head like that, it just doesn't add up. It never added up then. It doesn't add up now. I remember as a kid being like, this is taking so long. Like not like understanding like the gravity of what happened. It felt really long as a kid. Watching it over, it wasn't even that long. But they're very lucky. Stone Cold is very lucky. I heard that there was so much fallout from this. Owen never went to the hospital to visit him because he was so broken up, allegedly. He was so messed up about it. Stone Cold like almost never really forgave him, which who can blame him? I just saw something yesterday because I looked it up that Austin like said he loved Owen but didn't like what he did. So I guess he was forgiven at some point. It's just it's just really they're very lucky and it sucks that this happened to Austin at the height of this time because who knows where he would have been for the next 10 years even.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like if this injury didn't happen, we probably would have been seeing Austin wrestle until like 2010 or something. Like he would have had his retirement at the WrestleMania that Shawn Michaels had it.
Could have been
Um,
Austin Michaels.
yeah, it could have been Tyson and Austin.
Mhm.
Hey, Prateek, your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, it's that thing of people forget, Austin still was on the rise when he had his kind of real mainstream come up. He was more of a brawler. He changed his wrestling style. And I think a lot of casual Austin fans didn't realize how good of a technical wrestler he was. And that's why I do tell people who are always interested, like, go back and watch the first part of this match. Yes, it becomes a bummer after the injury, but the first part of this match is still amazing. But yeah, going back and watching it for this, you feel for Austin. It definitely felt like a bummer when the injury happened, and then it has this weird dark cloud because of what happens with Austin, what happens with Owen too. Like it's that thing. I do go back and watch also that part of the Raw as Owen after Owen passed, where Austin does do the tribute to him, and I do think it's unfortunate that Owen had to pass away for Austin to kind of forgive him. That's a bit. There is some darkness with that, but yeah, I still like you said, Ray. Like he's doing a tombstone. Owen does a tombstone, and literally the next match after this is with Undertaker. Like I don't understand why was there something miscommunicated?
Mhm.
I know sometimes Owen would call like weird things in the ring. Like I know Mark Henry and Undertaker tell stories of Owen like saying like weird. He would call like weird joke rib like moves like monkey flip and I'm gonna hit you in your shank or something. So maybe it was a botched call or something wasn't communicated properly. I don't know, but I am just curious why a tombstone was used. But again, like in terms of the match itself, great until the injury, and then it just there's a dark cloud over it. But I still tell people to go back and watch it because there is something to the magic of those pre-injury minutes is still amazing.
Yes. Now, guys, I got a question for you as I thought about this because you can almost hear it in Vince's voice. Vince kind of sounds like I just lost all my money when Austin's laying there because he knows and he can't. I can't believe Vince didn't just run into that ring. Like fuck, my meal ticket is I'm fucked. Let's say that night the doctors say Austin is never gonna walk again, or he's dead. He just fucking dies from his injury overnight, right? Just Austin's off the table. It's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Vince McMahon, August of '97, who do you go with? When you see everybody on the table, Kyle, if you're Vince, what do you do for WrestleMania? Austin's gone. It's never going to happen. Owen killed him. What do you do?
You're paying Bret Hart that money. You're paying Bret Hart whatever you can pay him, and you're keeping that there while you build The Rock the same way as you built The Rock before.
Okay, what's your WrestleMania main event?
Bret
Austin Paul.
Shawn.
Which
Like
one? Bret
you don't do it at Survivor Series. You build up to it, or even if you do it at Survivor Series, you do the same schmaz bullshit, or you tease the whole screw job. Like Bret Hart's actually gone. Bret Hart returns at the Royal Rumble. Bret Hart wins the Royal Rumble, has no choice but to fight Shawn Michaels, or Bret Hart throws out whoever number 30 is, or like he just shows up in the Rumble, even if he's not like an official participant. Say number 30 was Undertaker or something, or Mankind. He's having a great year. He throw Mankind out, and Bret Hart's like, no, I'm getting my chance at Shawn Michaels to keep the realism about it. So you kind of do the whole thing with Bret Hart. I don't know if you win the war, but at least you get to have that like blood feud between Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and they're in a right match to settle it this time.
Okay. Prateek, what would you do?
Yeah,
Austin.
I don't see Bret Hart leaving. That's
Mhm.
for sure. They're either gonna pay him his money or give him some creative control, or just Vince just gives Bret what he wanted, which we know Bret wasn't all about money. Bret was also about storyline, creative control. He also wanted Shawn Michaels' respect. I mean, I believe the thing had happened where at that point Shawn had said, I don't know if it had happened at that point, maybe it was right before Survivor Series, but it's a thing of Shawn saying, I would not do the same thing for you, and Bret felt disrespected. So I think you have these things where maybe Vince caters to Bret a bit more and makes Shawn apologize, and maybe there is a way where they can work. Yeah, I'm open to this idea of they do a match at Survivor Series and there is some sort of schmaz finish or screwy finish, and then you have what Austin had with Vince with this like anti-hero thing, and maybe Bret becomes like the anti-hero, and you kind of have a Bret Vince feud, and maybe like Vince is the special guest referee for Shawn and Bret at Mania, and you have like Vince still coming in as a bad guy heel, maybe this authority figure, but Bret becomes the anti-hero. Can Bret pull it off? That's the real question. Is the crowd going to buy it? That's another question too, But if you make Bret sympathetic, you screw him over, maybe the crowd will come back to him. So that's an interesting conundrum. But yeah, in terms of main event for Mania, that coming 14 match, it's going to be Bret, Shawn. Maybe Vince is involved, or maybe there's another stipulation, or maybe they do Hell in a Cell. That's the main event. They add something to it.
Okay. This is what I would do. I would keep the focus on Undertaker as the number one guy. I would not have Kane come out at Hell in a Cell. What I would do is throughout the fall, Bret and Shawn keep screwing over Undertaker. And Undertaker's like, I wasn't even in the middle of this shit. You guys put me in the
Yeah,
middle.
but now I'm involved.
And you do the matches, maybe instead of like maybe you have the two matches with Shawn, and then you go two matches with Bret, and then maybe at the Royal Rumble you have Bret and Shawn, and then Undertaker interferes. Well, after he wins the Rumble, but it all leads to, and then you eventually somehow it's revealed that Paul Bear is a fraud. There is no Kane. He's lying, and then you get rid of Paul Bear for a bit, and it leads to WrestleMania, where Undertaker it's going to be the first ever three-way match. It's Undertaker versus Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. They all hate each other. Mike Tyson's the ref. Mike Tyson comes in. Maybe you can have Bret be the one who shoves Mike Tyson, like you're a scummy American. You
Oh
know what I'm saying?
yeah, I forgot
So
about
you
that.
anyway, Undertaker wins. Undertaker he gets rid of both. Like fuck you, both of you. Fucking now I got rid of both of you guys. Undertaker wins. The next night on Raw, Paul Bearer comes out and is like, I wasn't lying. Here's Kane. Kane comes out, demolishes Undertaker. So now you built Undertaker Kane at SummerSlam. Underneath, Shawn and Bret are fighting with the Nation and Mankind and Shamrock. You're building up the Nation, whoever is in the Nation. You're building up Triple H. Triple H can feud with Bret Hart a little bit. So you have Bret Hart and Shawn still like,
Rock also was there too. He's still coming up too. Yeah.
Yeah, The
yeah,
Rock started his thing.
yeah. So you have maybe Bret can fuck around with maybe Bret turns face. He fucks with the Nation. Shawn and DX they fuck with Mankind, and it goes around underneath. And then we take it from so. But I would that leaves you that gives you a year. So you have Undertaker versus these. This is what I would do: Undertaker versus those two guys, and then you build towards the SummerSlam main event of '98 of Undertaker Kane, and then you go from there wherever you're going to go. You know.
No, it's good.
Interesting. But Brett still wins the title at SummerSlam '97, so he walks into Mania as the title holder. So he loses to Undertaker.
Yes. He might maybe Shawn and him trade it, but I think I would keep Brett as the champion the entire
Yeah.
time.
I'm into the idea of somebody holding the title and not hot potatoing it until.
Then maybe Kane. Maybe I would have Kane win it at SummerSlam '98. And then Kane can drop it to Shawn, and then Shawn can drop it to The Rock, or Brett can drop it to The Rock. I don't know, but I would keep the title on Brett. But the thing about it is like they're both assholes in different ways. They Brett and Shawn, and Undertaker's got to get rid of both of them, and he needs Mike Tyson's help. So, and then just when he thinks I went through this whole big war with the Hart Foundation and DX, and I finally now here's Kane. Now we got Kane, and now it's a whole different road with Kane. So that's what I would do. They'd probably be out of business before SummerSlam '98 because Goldberg. But that's what I would do. I would hold Kane Undertaker until SummerSlam '98. That's my main event.
I mean, it'd be such a because I know there's also like there were rumors that like Hogan wanted to leave in '97 or Savage wanted to leave in '97. So could you imagine the money Bret Hart would? I mean, Vince McMahon would throw at these guys if Austin was gone. He would
Well,
definitely try and get one of them back if he could.
he also trying.
Flair.
I would also try and get the Warrior back, and maybe I mean he did he begged when Bret Hart Screwjob went down he gave Warrior a giant contract and Warrior said no. So there's other. I mean, if you, I think if I'm Vince, I definitely do see what I could. I would give Hogan whatever he wants. Maybe do Hogan, Shawn, and then Brett Undertaker. Maybe have Mike Tyson in the match with Hogan, Shawn. Um, but I think Hogan's deal that he gets at the beginning of '98 is so lucrative. I don't think Vince had the money to match it.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely.
No, he wouldn't have.
WCW gave him everything.
Mhm. But I certainly, if I'm Vince, I would. You know what though? If both Hogan and Warrior say no, you know who I would go back to because he always works. And Sid, maybe have Sid come back.
Maybe.
You know, a
See,
little bit.
we need this is why we need contract tampering back. Tony Khan got rid of contract tampering, and now you can't schedule a deal, negotiate a deal until the
You can't
contract
even
is
talk.
done.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah. I
Who,
mean,
who
technically you should be able
what,
to.
like
It's
so like
wrestling. Who cares?
Sting would call them. I'll tell you if there was a remote possibility of getting Sting, fucking I would break the bank to get Sting in '97, '98. When that Ric Flair thing goes down, that's the other thing. When the Ric Flair thing goes down with Eric Bischoff, if Austin's gone and Bischoff chases Ric Flair, I
And
would
Brett
do what
never goes to WCW, so then there's
yeah,
money.
I could to get Ric Flair into WWF, especially with that drama, and immediately put him in a feud with Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I would do whatever I could to make that happen. But I also think if this goes down, Vince does not become an on-air character. There's no, I don't see a path where he becomes an on-air character. There's no need for it if Austin dies or is crippled in this match.
Yeah,
You know,
You're right. Yeah.
he might still be like it's a whole different world. I don't see how you can do the Attitude Era without Austin. It's a whole you kind of have to you because I would be like the only person I trust to be a top guy is Undertaker right now as a top face while I'm building Shamrock and Rock. And without Austin, who knows if Rock becomes what he becomes? You know what I'm saying? Like the Austin change taking out Austin changes so much
Yeah.
and there's not a lot to work with, which is why I just got to bet on Undertaker until somebody comes, until somebody. I mean, maybe Pillman doesn't die. Maybe he's in a different state of mind if Austin's gone. So you never know. Like Owen Hart's probably not going to do the Blue Blazer thing, but
It's a lot of different butterfly effects.
a lot of different butterflies. But my immediate reaction would be Undertaker versus Shawn and Brett. That's what we're going to go around for a while. And I'm delay Kane. I'm going to delay Kane. There's no reason to rush Kane.
But I also think because Vince Russo was there and we were already seeing a little bit of backstage stuff, I do think there might be something where there's either some authority figure or some heel guy, somebody bad is calling shots. And I think if you had that, whether it is Vince or you just have another figurehead or maybe even Austin because we knew Austin could talk, maybe Austin becomes like just a talker or a chicken shit kind of manager heel or something, or he has a stable. You could have something like that. You could have Undertaker be the anti-hero to that. So there is something to.
Well, I mean, like you could have Sergeant Slaughter become the Mr. McMahon character. You know what I mean? Like,
too. Yeah, and Slaughter was already on TV, right? As a commissioner, or was that later when he became?
no,
He was already.
I think the next night he becomes the commissioner. Actually, yes, that's in the same segment. They announce him as the commissioner. Yeah. So again, I don't see. They're always very vague on when they decided that McMahon should be an on-air character. They don't really ever. There's no real documentation of when Vince decided I'm going to become a character and when they decided to keep going that as extreme as they did. They don't really talk about it anywhere, not even a documentary. So I just don't see a path forward for him as a character because nobody was asking for him to be a character. Nobody sitting or even when I started rewatching in '98, I'm not when he started becoming more and more of a character. I'm like, this is crazy, but I love it. But it's not like I'm sitting with my friend like, you know what? Vince McMahon should wrestle. That's the secret to how they're going to change beat them. Like, did you ever imagine like like he's going to become such a big character on the show?
No, I mean, I watched when I was younger, so I always just thought he was a commentator. Like all those references to him like owning the stuff just went over my head. So to him to all of a sudden being like the owner of the company, I was like, wait, what? So
Yeah,
like, and then he becomes Mr. McMahon, and we have a good 20 plus years of McMahon, Shane, Vince, Stephanie, McMahon every corner,
Authority.
different feuds,
yeah.
authority, good, the good and the bad, I guess.
Bro, but like in February of '99, just think about this, man. February '99, it's the main event of Super Bowl is Hogan Flair, and WWF outdraws them on pay-per-view with Vince McMahon in the main event. And can you imagine in 1994 someone saying to Vince, "How are we going to counteract Hogan in WCW feuding with Flair?" And someone saying to Vince, "Well, you should wrestle in the main event in a steel cage." He would throw that guy through a window. Like, and if he said, like, the plan is to put Vince in the main events, like in '94, Dave Meltzer and the wrestling nerds of the time be like, they're out of their fucking mind. They're gonna be out of business. And the fact that it worked, it was like it was natural. It was a natural progression. It was something nobody,
Hmm.
but every week they built upon it. Where now it didn't seem insane back then, and it doesn't, but it seemed in hindsight, and I was like, that was insane. That Vince McMahon was in steel cage that out Drew Hogan Flair, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, you said on paper it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, should have been a poop match. Maybe if Flair and Hogan started pooping on each other's heads, they would have.
No. All right.
Okay.
Main
Uh,
event.
all right, guys, you having fun? Isn't this the best podcast ever?
Oh yeah.
Having a great time.
Talking about pooping. All right, guys. So now, here is one of the best and most, in my opinion, one of the best and most important main events of the '90s. The storyline that starts in this match, you can trace it all the way to Super Showdown in 2018. Um, it's Bret Hart versus Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the ref. Um, I'm going to say this every time Undertaker got in the ring with Bret Hart, he levels up as a worker throughout the rest of his career. After that match in '96, he becomes a better worker. And then after this match in '97, he becomes a great worker. Something about him in the ring with Bret Hart is he uses Bret Hart as a way to adjust his style because he can't wrestle like the old Undertaker style with Bret Hart. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work. So he constantly is adjusting his style when he's in the ring with Bret Hart. And this is another example of that. He goes on a hot streak of great matches, not just with Bret, but with Shawn and Kane after this, and Mankind. The next year of Undertaker's life, he has fucking bangers. Two great Hell in a Cells. The Inferno match is slept on. That's actually pretty fucking good. And even the Ground Zero match. The only match he has on pay-per-view that stinks is with Jeff Jarrett, and that's because Jeff Jarrett's a useless piece of shit. Prateek, your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett?
I know he's good friends with Taylor Swift. I know like his daughters were in a Taylor Swift video. Taylor Swift came over. I don't know, like Jeff Jarrett as a booker, I think makes more sense than Jeff Jarrett as a worker. And then also, didn't Austin have some problems? Like there's some rumors like Jarrett, they were going to put a program with Jarrett. Austin was injured. They wanted like something like just a tune-up match or something, and Austin had issues with that. My understanding it's because Jerry Jarrett stiffed him on a paycheck, and he was holding that shit, which I get. I also get that. Like, I remember when comics are shitty to me and try to be friendly later. Like, I get some of that stuff, but yeah, it's a shame because I don't know. I did like the guitar gimmick. I did like Slapnuts as a concept. It's very entertaining, but as a technical wrestler, not a fan. Maybe better as a booker. you know.
Yeah, the other big thing between them was his first promo when he came back. Vince Russo was only cut like a shoot style promo, like I'm shooting here,
Yeah.
and he called Austin 316 blasphemous and against God,
Oh,
and said you're fucking with my money when you say that. You know,
but also, would we have AJ Styles in the position he's in because Jeff Jarrett kind of brought AJ Styles into TNA, and that led to his career. So you got to give him credit for
Jeff Jarrett is a big pile of garbage. But
that too.
we got time to shit on Jeff Jarrett, but let's talk about this match. So here in the match, Shawn Michaels is the ref, and they have been teasing since December that Shawn and Brett are going to wrestle again, and they're cutting promos where they hate each other. Now, originally, this was just supposed to be like a character thing. They didn't really actually hate each other. They worked themselves into a shoot. At this point in their lives, they both actually hate each other. Brett and Shawn. It's real. And the thing about it is, can Shawn Michaels be an impartial ref? And he's going to call it right. He's claiming he's going to call it right down the middle. The other stipulation is if Bret Hart loses, he can never wrestle in the United States again. So there's a lot on the line here. This match is fantastic. All three guys um, play their roles perfectly. And the finish is one of the best acted finishes I've ever seen. There's a lot of interference, which I forgot. Obviously, the Hart Foundation interferes. Paul Bearer comes out. There's a lot of nonsense. It was very odd. I don't know why. It was very odd to see Shawn Michaels and Brian Pillman go back and forth. I never always kind of saw them as people that exist on two different planes of existence. So to see them like I'm sure they hung out a lot. I don't know why it was so weird to me what it was. Um, but the finish of the match is Shawn Michaels has the chair. Bret Hart is pissing him off. He swings on Bret because he hates him so much. He accidentally hits the Undertaker. Bret Hart pins him. Shawn Michaels is a slow count, and he has to be fair. He hits the three, and when he hits three and he walks out, and he just like has this look on his face like he hates himself. It's one of the most perfect images, perfect acting moments I've ever seen. Bret Hart raises the title, puts five in the air. Bret Hart has gotten one over on Shawn in their war. Undertaker's caught in the middle. Um, it really is a phenomenal match. The crowd is on their feet. It's a long match too. I just think it's so great. It sets off so many different stories. It's the one thing about WWF. It finally feels like there's progress. The storylines are heating up in the company, and that's what the end of this match feels like. Kyle, your thoughts on this match?
Probably one of the best SummerSlam matches you have. I mean, there's a reason that Bret Hart is unofficially Mr. SummerSlam. His matches do not, I mean, they always deliver. I remember this match as a kid as well. I don't remember the interference as much as you did, and like seeing Shawn Michaels, Brian Pillman is kind of interesting because they never really interact like that. But I forgot Paul Bearer got involved. I thought the match was great. I remember vividly the sharpshooter on the ring post, which was kind of like a really awkward thing to try, but Bret Hart went for it. But Bret Hart is one of Undertaker's best opponents, and it was great seeing these two wrestle again. The finish is perfect, like you said. I I always laugh at. I think they changed it for the network version, but I remember I saw the replay of it. When they show the replay, see it. When Bret Hart wins, he does like a little dance. He does like this, where he does like a little dance when he wins, like wins it for the fifth time. I remember that as well. And that was back when that was a big deal. Winning the championship five times was only Hulk Hogan, and then Bret Hart was the second person to win the WWE championship five times. So that was like a huge accomplishment. So for the Hart Foundation to get their win, Bret Hart to get their win, only one member lost, so that meant Jim Neidhart still had to shave his beard, even though he mysteriously disappeared like the next night. Got fired for something I forgot.
Mhm.
But no, it sets off the fall of WWE with many different directions, which pays off for them. I think they were also teasing or leading to a triple threat happening eventually. It just didn't happen because at the Raw
Yeah,
that I went to,
I
that
think they
was
do.
the dark match main event. Yeah, those were the dark match main events where it was Brett, Shawn, and Undertaker, but we never really got it on TV. Might be on the Vault now.
Yeah, they
But
should have done that. But you got to see it. You got to see
yeah,
it.
we got to see it. Yeah, it was very short. You know, they have those like post show dark matches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but no, it was great. It was great, and it helps lead WWE into the fall.
Yeah, it was awesome. Prateek, your thoughts?
Yeah, again, like it's the perfect, storm of storyline, grounded realism, and then technical match was great. Again, I know it's weird in the last few years. Like, I know Jake the Snake made some comments about like, oh, Bret Hart wasn't really a main eventer, or he couldn't talk. But to me, it's like some of those promos were minimal, but that was the point of Bret Hart. That was his character. He didn't need to have a lot of flash and pomp and circumstance. I also like the pre-match little promo thing that Bret does with the mic right before the match starts. I think we need more of that. I know that's kind of become, now the entrance is the big show, and now it's like the package before is the big show. But I kind of like the idea of in a main event match, like, either the challenger or the heel or someone makes a little, quick thing to the crowd. I miss that. I think that's one of the things they need to bring back more of. And so yeah, just fantastic match. I think this is one of if Bret Hart, I know he doesn't talk about Undertaker being one of his better dance partners, but he should, because this is a fantastic match. I think Ray, you made a good point about it. This elevates Undertaker's technical ability. Undertaker wasn't really known as a technician at that point. And whether it was by choice or just he wanted to keep his character grounded. I know Undertaker was always a big Andre the Giant fan. Less is more. I think he believed in that, but with the right opponent, more is more. So yeah, I like that you get to see a different side of Undertaker as he also evolves his character through this, kind of pre-attitude era. So I think this match is really the start. People say the screw job is the start of Attitude Era. I think this match is more of like you see the seeds of the Attitude Era in this match as well. And I know they've paid tribute to this match in the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins SummerSlam match. Like there were seeds of this match in there too. It's a match that kind of has become what has defined modern wrestling. So I think we need to give props to all the players in this.
Yeah, it was a three-man effort.
Yeah.
And all three guys delivered. They played their parts perfectly. Uh, Again, Shawn Michaels, and he said this. I think this was his best year. It was a better year than '96. I heard something the other day. His house show business was way better than '94, '95, and the ticket money and the merch money was up in '96. But the ratings were in the toilet, which is why everyone sees him as a failure. So I think he had a chip on his shoulder because of that. Because like not only am I having the best matches,
Yeah.
but attendance is up, and the money we're making on my fucking t-shirts is up from fucking Diesel, and I'm being perceived as a loser because of this fucking TV show that stinks because of your writing, not because of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think everything he does in '97 has a point. Like even though like that Bret Hart match, the Screwjob match, is fucking fire. That's a great match.
It's
People forget
really great. Yes, it really is.
he goes out there every second. Like I'm proof. Like you fucking think I stink. You think I'm a failure. I'm gonna prove. Even if I'm the ref, I'm gonna prove to you I'm a fucking man. And he does it. And yeah, man, fucking all these guys make it work, man. That's the he didn't. They didn't like each other, but when the camera came on, Shawn was gonna make sure his shit with Brett looked fucking phenomenal.
Were the buy rates up for this pay-per-view at least, or was there? I feel like there was some rise starting with this pay-per-view.
I'm wondering if this that you know what I'll find it next time. I'll find it next time. But it should have been because hey, it's your fault. It should have been. It should have been higher.
Yeah.
What you call it? So overall, I thought this was a phenomenal show. Kyle, what do you think?
No, we said it a little earlier. I thought it was a good show. I mean, they had a couple of slagged a little bit. I'm looking at you, DOA, and Savio Vega, Los Boricuas. But no, it was a good show. It's one of those shows that even if you had a little bit of speed bumps on the way, the main event especially made up for it. And I just remember that period of WWE being exciting. Shawn Michaels turning into a villain, which you didn't expect both Shawn and Bret to both be heels at the same time. The start of DX, the change in Triple H's character. I don't know if it's this one or a couple weeks later. It's Undertaker and Mankind against Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which is
That starts, yeah.
that's the next night, or that's like a couple weeks afterwards.
That's that's like 2 or 3 nights. That's like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, which is like insane because Undertaker and Mankind also hate each other, and like that's the main event. Like, which you just don't really get that feeling anymore. I mean, I guess they're doing it with Jey Uso
Two
and LA
tag teams.
Knights. Yeah, they're like Jey Uso and LA Knight. Look at their
Right.
history. I'm
We
like, I
hate
don't
each other.
fucking
Yeah.
care.
We'll
They
come.
They haven't liked each other for a week. I don't care.
Right? Yeah.
But but
He
yeah, it's
until after Ground Zero. So
what happened.
DX didn't form until after Ground Zero, which is
No, I knew, but I know Shawn Michaels and Triple H start hanging out like shortly after this
yeah,
happens, and then I
They've
think
been hanging out
October.
for years, but like on
Yeah,
camera,
on camera, yeah.
camera.
Like Triple H like starts to like lose the
Oh, you lose.
pompousness
Ugh.
and yeah, the last bows. And he and Triple H just become buddies. And then they become like October 13th, I think is when they actually form. But no, it was great. Awesome show.
it was great. Yeah, it was a great show. So now, what we've been doing, and we forgot to do this, Kyle, last week, but let's go back. What we've been doing, Prateek, is we've been saying who's had the better show month to month and adding it up. And at the end, when we get to March of 2001, if we get to March of 2001, the way the network is going,
Nah.
we will know truly who won the war. So this is like, we can say who won the war in terms of like, obviously WWF won, but who was really the better company consistently. So that's why we do this every month. We add it up. Kyle, what I personally think that Bash at the bed, you'll get a vote when we end August, but we're not done with August. I think that WCW won in July. What do you think?
Oh, over SummerSlam?
No, 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 no. It's Canadian Stampede versus Bash at the Beach.
Canadian Stampede versus Bash at the Beach. I'm gonna go with Canadian Stampede for that one.
You're gonna go with Canadian Stampede. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Prateek, have you seen those two shows?
I've seen those two shows. If we're going off of just overall, which is a better show, I'm gonna go with Canadian Stampede.
Okay, so WWF has won July. So let me tally this up in my head. Hold on one second. Stay calm. We did have two ties between me and Andrew Lee, so they're gonna stay ties. So that's two ties. So WWF has won in May of '96. Sorry, I used to have this. But we skipped last week. May of '96, WWF won. They won in November of '96, and they won in July. So that's three. WCW has won June, July, August, September, October, December, um, February, April, May, and June. So it's 10 to 3 to 2. 10 for WCW, 3 for WWF, and two ties. And ECW hasn't won anything yet. Oh, ECW also, remember, they're in this month as well. But so it's going to
Oh,
be,
Hey, maybe August. Maybe they'll get
was
the
it
big
Heat Wave
August
or
one.
something? Is that this in August or something?
or Heat Wave starts in '98. It's hardcore heaven.
Okay,
uh, 90, 90, 97. So right now, WCW is still in the lead, 10 to 3. Uh,
that'll change.
that'll change, but that's where we are right
Right.
now. I think we're about to get to 10 to 4, but we'll have to watch. So let's go over the next 4 weeks, guys. This is what we have in store. Next week is Road Wild 97, Luger versus Hogan. In
Oh,
2 weeks, it's Hardcore Heaven 97, Sabu versus Terry Funk versus Shane Douglas. This will be a very personal show for Prateek. He did murder Sabu at his
Oh,
last match.
I went to the last match, but no, I was.
You were there and you killed him. In 3 weeks, Ground Zero in your house,
Ooh.
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. And then in 4 weeks, Full Brawl 97, featuring a War Games match between the Horsemen and the NWO, which they started calling this little sub faction the Wolf Pack. So it's the Wolf Pack versus Four Horsemen in War Games. What are you guys looking forward to of those four shows?
I'm gonna say hardcore, not hardcore. It's hardcore heaven, not heat wave, because that one I remember the least. The other
Yeah,
ones I have a vivid memory of. Hardcore heaven, I don't have as big of a memory of, so be interesting to watch.
Pete, what are you looking forward to, brother?
I'm gonna say Hardcore Heaven, and then also I'm intrigued by. I forgot about some of the WCW stuff, so I forgot about that War Games match or whatever with NWO or Wolfpack or whatever. So that's intriguing to me. I'm curious how that'll hold up.
That's one of the first matches that kind of starts killing the Southern territories for them.
Mm.
And we'll get into it when we get into that match. But Flair said their attendance was never the same in the South after the finish of that match.
Hmm.
And so it's the beginning of you've made one too many bad creative decisions, and we're going to start watching WWF. That's where it starts. As for me, for my plugs, guys, you please subscribe to the podcast, Gootz Wrestling Pod. Leave us a comment, leave us a review. Follow me on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy. and follow me on Instagram, Ray Gootz. I'm not on Twitter anymore because I'm not a white supremacist. So follow me there. Kyle, what do you have to plug?
No, nothing really. Character Select Comedy comes back October 4th at the Stand, 6 p.m. So please come out to that, and that's about it.
Prateek, your plugs, brother.
Yeah, at Prateek Comedy. That's Prateek Comedy. That's my Instagram handle. That's my TikTok handle. My YouTube channel has like a special on there called October Surprise, and then I have a couple other videos that I do. I do a nature series called Neurotic by Nature, where I yell in nature. That's always a fun time. So yeah, check out my YouTube channel and keep supporting this podcast. Yeah, happy to be here.
I want to yell at Tony Khan. So
And fuck Tony.
guys, that's it. We will see you next week. We're gonna hit the road. We're gonna hit it wild. It's gonna be road wild next week.
Road Wild.
WCW land. We'll see you then.